All right, hey yo, what's going on, all my gamers, all my reaction gamers, chat. This is we had another oh my god, we have another Mujin video. It's been a while because the last one I reacted to was the Cinder one. I don't know if anyone else reacted to that, but I reacted to the entire thing. Chat, real quick, I started up streaming again on my main account, youtube.com/bluedemonrin or twitch.com/bluedemonrin. So that's why these videos are unedited, of course. But yeah, if you guys want to go check that out there. Or if you want to send me videos, chat, we do have a Discord where you can send links and stuff like that. Be involved if you feel like. Anyways, chat, I know that I think this situation is still ongoing currently, right? If I'm not mistaken, this whole Cha-Cha Chilla, is that her name? Something like that. I think the situation is still ongoing, if that's what this is on about. I don't know anything about him until this recent one, so let's hear about it.
Accountability is something that we all must inevitably face at one point during our lives. Whether we hurt the feelings of a loved one or just straight up clog the toilet to unimaginable degrees, we simply just have to take a step back sometimes and say, sorry, my bad, I screwed up.
I'm sorry. I just think of that South Park. We're sorry.
Simple as that might sound to a normal person watching this right now, unfortunately, as you might have already concluded from being on the internet, accountability is starting to become a rarity these days.
No.
But if we had some sort of a global competition on seeing who can avoid saying sorry the most consistently, then it would be content creators, especially ones who have a lot of followers and have built such an ego that they have become delusional. And unfortunately, we see...
Oh my god. Just like... Oh god, I'm so tired of content creators with stuff like that. Like after the whole Cinder video, like I'm just so over it, bro. That was like a 10-hour react. I'm so done.
Many such cases, more specifically in
that was a Honkai Star Rail and Forest Story level.
We're talking about the VTuber by the name of
Cha-Cha Chilla.
Someone who tried.
I thought the funniest thing was that Cha-Cha was like, I thought people were talking about me and I was going viral, but it's not me. That's gotta be so awkward for that to happen to Cha-Cha.
To cancel another VTuber
Mama
and her
Cha-Cha,
entire agency. And when she got called out, right, when she was proven wrong with receipts and proof, instead of saying sorry and taking a step back, she instead claimed that she was going to the hospital and she got community noted.
She did.
And as ridiculous as this sounds, I wish that's where it ended. Because people would uncover that this was her third rebrand from 2 past controversial lives. And after putting the pieces together, would start to tell us about the other controversies she was involved in before even becoming Cha-Cha Chilla. I mean, this whole thing was such a disaster that it ended up trending on Twitter. Guys, as this was happening, I could not believe my eyes. Not only was this crash out incredible...
The terrible thing about this is that, as I think about it as a VTuber, is like, people have made points that VTubers shouldn't be this anonymous on the internet because they can do things like this, where if they get in trouble or if they try to avoid accountability, all they do is just rebrand. And it's like, well, VTubers shouldn't be that anonymous, which I don't agree. I'm all about anonymity. You don't need to know who I am, and I would rather keep it that way.
Bad, but it involved a person that literally had zero self-awareness. I can't see this happening otherwise. The humiliation and embarrassment would be too much to handle for a normal person. So look, by now you know me. Once I see a catastrophe like this unfold before my eyes, I think to myself, man,
content, baby.
I have to talk to you guys about this. So without further ado, let's do this.
Difference.
All right, so this whole incident actually took place in Minecraft.
Our craft.
You see, there were 2 VTubers that created a server. The first one was called Lucia, and the second one was called Arissa. The survival multiplied a server.
I like this art. It's so cute. It's really adorable.
The first one was called
Where'd I put my pen? Okay, now wait a minute. Now you hold your horses right there. What does that mean?
Lucia, and the second one was called Arissa. The survival multiplayer server they would create, otherwise known as SMP, would be called
like a little
Invasion Parasite. But it would have a twist. Other than just being an SMP, it was also an RP server where people roleplayed different characters and made up different stories and scenarios.
Oh, like the Hololive one.
VTubers of very varying sizes
Socks
and very
agency.
varying audiences decided to join that server to have a good time together and get to meet new people. Some of these VTubers happen to be from the Socks agency, otherwise known as SVA, one of the few VTuber agencies that is actually still standing and works pretty damn well with its talent.
Nice.
The server took around 3 months to set up and would actually involve the work of multiple people. It would have multiple factions competing against one another while being invaded by mobs, and the event in its entirety would last 3 days. After the last day of the server, Lucia would tweet, "Invasion Parasite was a huge undertaking that I didn't fully grasp the intensity of." She'd say that it all started as a silly little idea between her and Orisa, all while thanking the people who helped her set it up, as well as talk about some of the issues that...
I feel like sorry. I'm so sorry. This is so unrelated. I feel like I'm overdue for a Minecraft month-long expedition. You know how everyone has that yearly pilgrimage back to Minecraft? I feel like I'm overdue for one. Sorry, go ahead.
Popped up that they were able to get through anyway. She mentioned how some people produced music, art, and stories in the server that she was blown away by, and that she was very grateful.
Dude, that's
overall
sick.
A pretty healthy conclusion, right? Well,
yeah.
This was tweeted on November 17th, 2025.
Oh, no.
On the same day, an hour earlier before Lucia made her tweet, Cha-Cha Chilla would herself make a tweet saying, "I think it's weird that people will act like they're better than you and literally call you inferior to your face and then act like you're the problem."
I'd probably do something like that. I'd probably call people inferior. But chat, you have to understand, when I call people inferior, it's not meant to offend them. I'm just telling them the truth. I'm just better than you. It happens. You don't have to be mad about it. I think it's fine. These things just happen. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Chad was about to cut a promo. Anyways, go ahead.
Now, of course, initially her community was concerned.
I should probably not do that.
Who called you inferior? Who could do that? Half an hour later, she would make yet another tweet, this time longer and specifying exactly what...
I just want to give one more point. I really do think those RP servers are kind of sick, dude. Because then you could really get into, like, kayfabe. That sounds really cool. Am I the only one? All right, whatever. I'm just... All right, whatever.
What she meant, saying, "I wanted to take a moment to apologize for how I reacted on the
Sorry about that, Jet.
last day of the SMP. I got genuinely frustrated and let that frustration turn into anger, and that wasn't fair to anyone. I'm sorry for the way I spoke. That said, I want to be honest about where that frustration came from, because I think it matters. From the start of the SMP, we agreed to hold off on griefing until day 3 so everyone could settle in, build, and actually enjoy the opening experience. When griefing started on days 1 and 2, it didn't just break the rules, it broke the spirit of what we were trying to create together. On top of that, hearing things like my team being inferior or that we deserved to die got under my skin more than I expected.
No, that's not true. There's no way. There's no way people are going to freak out over words being said in an RP, SMP, SMG, RGB, Minecraft server. Are they? There's no way, right, chat? There's no way.
I didn't handle that well, and I should have stepped back instead of blowing up. I'm not here to hold grudges though. I want to move forward and be better and not let my anger get the best of me no matter the circumstance. Alright, well, you read this and you think, okay, well maybe there was some miscommunication in the server, but overall, it's fine. She took a step back, she was like, I'm fine with it, not holding grudges, let's move on. Except that's not where things ended, right?
Okay.
She would then reply to this tweet and say, and I also want to be honest about something personal. Being called inferior hit me harder than I let on because I'm disabled. I deal with those kinds of assumptions in real life more often than people realize, and hearing it in a space that's supposed to be fun and welcoming.
Oh my god, it is. RP, SMP, RPG, SMG. Lakers in 5.
Cut a lot deeper. I don't expect everyone to tiptoe around me, but I do expect basic respect. For me, and for anyone else who might be carrying something you can't see, comments like that don't just stay in the game, they stick with you. And that's part of why I reacted the way I did. Alright?
That sounds like a you problem that you should deal with personally. That has nothing to do with anybody. Why are you saying this like... Oh my god. You are basically asking to have your hand held, bro. Which in certain aspects, I think that's totally fine. That's totally cool. You deserve to have the respect that you are owed in certain situations. This is an RP server in Minecraft, not not metaphorically speaking, physically in Minecraft. Brother, why would you take what's in the game outside the game and just drag? You know, there's a lot of things where people say that people are dragging something, and I never agree with it. You are definitely dragging this. 100,000% you are dragging this. This is an actual definitional textbook example of dragging it.
Maybe that was a bit of a stretch. I mean, this is a roleplay server, right?
Yeah.
This is just the word inferior here, but it's okay. We can just call that miscommunication, guys. It happens. You know, it's not a big deal.
I'll call you something worse if you like.
Chilla had just
if you want to feel better, I can call you something worse.
Shut up and not done anything else, things would have been completely okay. Except she didn't, right? Of course she didn't. And the next day, she would start off an incident so massive that it would start trending on Twitter. On November 18th, 2025, Cha-Cha Chilla would make this tweet saying, I tried to talk to Flork about one of his talents having a habit of calling people inferior and how that can seem
What do you mean a habit? What do you keep saying a habit? Like he's saying this out. I'll tell you what. If this person had said it outside the game, yes. At that point, if they are continuing to call you that outside of the game, in situations where this is no longer the case, like it's no longer RP, it no longer has anything to do with the game, you're absolutely right. You have every which way and every reason to contact Flork. If this has never left the game and it was like a one-off issue, hello? Are you okay? Brother, this isn't real.
However, he blocked me and said not to bring up my personal issues with his talents. I believe calling somebody inferior is demeaning, as it's historically used context. AdFreeVT called us that. If you support Sock's Vtuber agency, aka SVA, this is what you're supporting. She would then
I'll support it. I don't lie.
Link a clip of 3 seconds. Watch.
I literally almost died in the first like 2 minutes.
All right, so there's a lot happening in this clip, but near
Wait, did I miss it? What the hell just happened? I didn't even hear it. What?
This is what you're supporting. She would then link a clip of 3 seconds. Watch.
I literally almost
What?
Then link a clip of 3 seconds. Watch.
Where is it? How could you even hear that? What?
literally almost died in the first like 2 minutes.
All right, so there's a lot happening in this clip, but near the end, right, what she's trying to highlight is AdFreeVT saying, you're inferior, we're just better. Just as a reminder, right, we're in Minecraft, they're role-playing, and it does involve player versus player fighting, all right? That's just all I'll say before we continue, all right? Now, she would refer
It's PvP too. I have said so much worse in my League of Legends games. It is astounding I have ever hit honor level 5. That's how bad I was in League of Legends. I know this because I played League of Legends recently and it all came flowing back to me. Trust me, it is not good. You don't want me in a PvP game, but dude, this is something that I even said when I was playing like amateur League of Legends with friends. Like we used to hold a league together and I would literally say, "Yo, this guy's stupid. Get him. Oh, this guy made a mistake. He's an idiot. Get him." Like, oh, this guy's dog. Like, you know, this guy's out of place. He's a super dog. Get him. Blah 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 blah. Like, you just say these things, right? It's comms, or even in this one, this is just role play.
someone called Flork, and that would actually be the CEO
Yay,
of Sock's
Flork.
agency
I love Flork.
of
Dude,
SVA.
Flork is so
she was
funny.
out here trying to
I
cancel
love
one of his
Flork.
talents for calling her inferior, while calling him out directly.
My
saying that
basement
he
is a
wasn't
tomb
doing
for
anything
federal
about
agents.
this. Now look,
Insert
I don't know what she
Flork.
was expecting. Maybe seeing some people rally behind her. Maybe
love
she felt
Flork,
that she
dude.
was truly fighting for a greater cause here. But almost immediately after posting this, the entire VTubing community just went up against her because, God, this was such a ridiculous thing to
Flork
cry
of
about.
cows. That's
Malfina,
cute.
who is part of SVA, would say, a habit? A 3-second clip is a habit where the person isn't seen? The word was spoken in a roleplay based around factions fighting a war against one another. Wilders were also making comments against other teams. That's how it works. What's unprofessional is approaching Flork as you did, purely trying to get ad-free into some sort of trouble, then being unable to provide evidence. What's unprofessional is stretching his "this is your fight" to him, allegedly approving the word inferior as an attack against disabled people. What's unprofessional is shouting about high raids and subs around those who are role-playing respectfully in open areas. What's unprofessional is starting to instigate other players even after a mod told you to stop, then playing victim as was seen on your stream.
I like that. I like seeing. Okay, this is weird, but I like seeing loyalty, bro. I like seeing them stand up for their group respectively, dude. You all crew, you gotta stand up for each other. I love that. I like seeing shit like that.
She would then specify that this had nothing to do with disabilities and would end this by saying, "This all started because Addy unfriended you. Everyone has the choice to do so. This is a sad reaction." So this of course adds a lot of context that was missing in that initial call-out post. As I mentioned,
I love this. This is such a good response. I like both pancakes and waffles. I get that I understand that reference.
Earlier, this server had multiple factions.
Chat, pancakes or waffles? That's a good question. Y'all like pancakes or waffles better? I think I like pancakes more. That's me though. Hey, listen, if you like waffles, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, this bit's kind of gone a little too far. I'm just using this as time to unwind my headphones. Go ahead.
3 to be exact. They were all competing against one another for the end goal of the entire story involving the server. So I'm sure many of you watching might have played sports or played just online games in general and understand that shit-talking your opponent is a very normal thing to do, especially saying something like...
It is not only normal, it is necessary. Don't let anybody tell you, don't let any soft person tell you otherwise. Shit-talking your opponent is absolutely necessary, and it's fun.
Inferior. This wasn't a slur or anything, right? It was actually extremely harmless. Pretty much everyone from SVA stood up for ad-free, saying, "Hey, this is a roleplay server, dumbass." And you even had disabled people, the group of people that she claimed to be speaking for, come out against her, saying, "Yo, you're a dumbass.
Did she get blocked?
Inferior is not a slur. Come on." And then you'd see another member from SVA by the name of Yami add more context about their past experiences with
Yami.
Cha-Cha Chilla, quote tweeting her call-out post and saying, "Oh hey, it's the person who kept following me around all of Offkai after I told them to stop and I had to warn security over her." Offkai, of course, is a yearly VTuber convention.
Maybe I don't want to go to Offkai. I was thinking about it because I'm kind of thinking of letting TwitchCon go by, but you know, maybe not. Maybe I'll stick to actually, Offkai is probably safer than TwitchCon.
Continues. "The person who was overstepping my boundaries and touching my arm in comfort over and over when I told them not to touch me and spoke at me like I was less than them, saying I was so brave for going to Offkai as a trans person rather than talking to me like a normal person. You don't get to play the victim."
You're like a commodity, dude. See, dude, you're like a commodity to these people. That's so weird, brother. Like, what is wrong with you?
When you've hurt and disrespected so many people, and many know about your past life and the terrible things you've done there too.
Yeah.
All I can do is wish you find the help you need. Step away from the internet, find professional help, and breathe. Maybe the world will be brighter for you one day where you don't find a need to validate your existence by trying to bring down others. So yeah, this wasn't just any random call-out post. This person apparently had a history of being very weird and even had a past life. She used to be another VTuber, but we'll get into that later. For now, though, the CEO himself of SVA would quote tweet her call-out post and tell us about his side of the story, saying, "Yes, I did snap at you in DMs because you were told not to contact me anymore prior to this." Lucius,
Wait, are these people being blocked? Because oh no, I guess this post is just unavailable. Is it? Or I don't know.
Team investigated the first piece of evidence you showed them regarding ad-free, and it was not even them speaking, video included. Their team there gave you the statement on what was happening. It was roleplay in a Minecraft faction roleplay, and I will wholeheartedly back my talent that they did no wrong, especially in a 4-second out of context clip you originally showed. He'd link a 14-second video, and this was actually what Cha-Cha had sent Lucia's team, right, the person behind the server, to prove that ad-free was somehow an ableist, someone who discriminates against disabled people.
What?
Watch for yourself.
Treating guys.
They're wild.
Guys, they're like,
gotta give them a
yeah,
pass.
what's happening with that?
Brains are a little smaller.
Dude, now it's gonna, oh my god, hard.
I was never a wilder, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's true. I never.
Right, so in this clip, you can see a bunch of VTubers saying that the opposite faction, the Wilders, have smaller brains. I guess Chacha was trying to say that
funny,
this was
bro. That's
ableist, like they were
hilarious.
making fun of disabled people.
Bro, you guys gotta have real problems at some point, right? Surely at some point in your lives, you will have a real problem. What is this Mickey Mouse? What is this Mickey Mouse problems people keep having on the internet? Especially VTubers, bro. You are not going to convince me that this is somehow an actual problem that you have to deal with. Like, really? Bro. This is so dumb, bro. You guys are, I've never used this word before. I don't use this word often, but you guys are actually cringe. Solo dying to Teemo top lane. You're actually cringe.
Like what? Disabled people have smaller brains or something? Yet another stretch. Even better, Flork would be claiming in his post that the clip
these guys
that
are
Chacha had sent
professional
the mod
victims.
team didn't even have ad-free
That's what a
speaking
professional
in it
victim
to
looks like,
begin
chat.
with. I mean, by this point, the circus was in full swing. This post almost has 1 million views, by the way. This was
It's
so
goofy
ridiculous.
hours, I guess.
It blew so much out of proportion. He would then reply to his post and say, "You also stated here other people do it, so why focus on me /SVA?
Yeah.
Was it before I told you to not message me any longer as of early October?" And he'd link to images. Here we can see Chacha saying, "Really? Because as I see it, nothing has been taken care of. You guys have known about the inferior things. Lots of people have been calling us it." In the other image, we can see Flork saying, "Hi Chacha, I will admit I'm a little uncomfortable with your messages right now. I have been extremely busy because of corpo work and my other work. Though earlier in the year I had more time so I was able to message a bit more freely, I have not had that free time lately. Me not consistently DMing you is not a personal thing, however because of this I'm not sure if I'm comfortable to keep up communication. Best of luck, Chacha." This happened on the 6th of October 2025, and after this he would block her. It seemed like that really bothered her, and she's held a grudge against him ever since. He would then continue the thread, saying, "Listen, we knew you were going to fucking do this because you did this shit before to other people. I knew you were going to drop this late. Maybe you thought I'd be asleep so you could get an edge on me? I specifically stayed up because we knew you were going to do this. I don't know
Bro, you got a Joseph Joestar moment. He said your next words are
why the focus was on me so hard,
Toy!
especially if your problem was ad-free. I don't want anything to do with you." He would then add more context as to why he knew that she stayed up late, showing DMs from this July.
It's like when it's like those movies where the spouse comes home and their spouse is like on the chair with a drink in their hand and they turn on the lights as they come home late. Like, "I've been waiting for you, bitch."
2025. Here we can see Chacha Chilla saying, "I'm a night owl," and Flork remembered that detail. The last thing he'd say in this thread is, "Honestly, do you not think I stick up for anyone in my agency? Come on. Before you even went into my DMs to try to get me to punish her like a school kid, I knew what was going on." So look, overall, a very strong...
At this point, that's all I've needed to see. I will never question why. Is it VGA? Right. Is it VGA? That's Video Game Awards. VSA? I don't remember. I'm so sorry. I gotta be dyslexic. I forgot the letters. I'm no longer questioning why this agency is still going strong. If this is their boss, if this is the head of the table, I understand it. It makes total sense to me. Flork sounds like an amazing boss. That's all I needed to see.
Worded statement by Flork. I mean, after this, if you had any sort of self-awareness, any sort of shame or dignity, you would probably apologize, take a step back, maybe deactivate your account. I don't know. But just to show you how much self-awareness Chacha Chilla truly lacks, she actually would reply to this post saying, "Actually, that's not what you said." Linking DMs. Here we can see the screenshot from the 6th of October in which Flork says, "Hey, I'm not comfortable really keeping up communication." And we can see the blocked message from Chacha Chilla in which she says, "I'm sorry, it's just that this has happened with multiple people and I guess it's really gotten into my head. I won't bring this up again." Flork then says, "Best of luck, Chacha." And then she says, "Thank you. Sorry again for letting this get into my head so much. Thank you for understanding." 24 days later, she would say, "Hey, thank you again for understanding. Wanted to give you some time, but the standees did arrive a bit ago and wanted to thank you for them. I love them so much. You do not have to reply to this, just wanted to express my thanks." So look, I don't know what the whole point of this was. Flork would just
What? Okay, so this person has had this happen 3 different times, right? They have gone on 3 different VTubing accounts. You would think you'd learn how to actually provide evidence if something else has happened in that time. You're really bad at this. I'm just gonna say that right now. If you're trying to get a dunk on people or whatever is happening, you're really bad at this. I don't want to say you're kind of Cinder's level of bad at this, because Cinder also was pretty bad at like providing proof and stuff like that, but you're pretty up there.
Reply with, that's pretty clearly don't message me anymore, right? And that was the whole point. That's why he linked these DMs in the first place. It doesn't matter what she replied with. The whole point was that on the 6th of October, 2025, Flork said, I'm not comfortable keeping up communication. Bye, right? Like, thank you.
All right, take it back. She's absolutely worse than Cinder.
This was the nicest way he could say it. Cha-Cha-Chilla would then reply again saying, that's not what you said? You said you're not sure if you want to keep communication. Be clear, communicate like an adult, especially when you're communicating with somebody who's told you they're autistic in the past. At this point, she's like...
Oh, did she like clear it after? Or I don't understand. You said she was autistic in the past. Did she get over it? I don't understand. She cure it? Why did she say it like that?
Like, apologize or draw 25 disability cards and use one of them. Like, what the hell is going on? The top reply on her reply would out-ratio her by 20 times and would say, medically or self-diagnosed. Not to mention that there are so many autistic people in her replies expressing how angry they are that someone is using their condition as an excuse to not take accountability. Like, look, I've seen my fair share of absolute train wrecks of VTubers, but no one has ever taken it this far of replying to something so clear-cut and still trying to paint themselves as a victim. And you know what the worst part is, or I guess the best part, since you're probably entertained? We're not even halfway through. It gets so much worse.
Okay, this is basically the equivalent of, oh yeah, well, what if this... What someone's like, oh yeah, well what if I do this, and then they just shoot their foot in front of you, like, okay, well, what the hell was that? Why did you just do that?
Next tweet during this entire shitstorm would be from Nikita, someone who actually...
Nikita? Ugh, I hate Nikita. Not this Nikita. I mean the person who made Escape from Tarkov. I'm not a big fan of him anymore. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry. I don't know this Nikita. Sorry, go ahead.
Helped Lucia and Orisa make the server and was a staff member. He'd say, I am the staff member who personally handled Cha-Cha's ticket regarding this matter.
Ooh.
I feel it is important to clarify the timeline and the facts of our investigation for the public record.
Okay.
Initial contact. This issue began when Cha-Cha posted a call out in the public Wilders faction Discord channel tagging ad-free. I removed that post to de-escalate public tension and immediately reached out to Cha-Cha privately to explain that public callouts can create a hostile environment.
Makes sense.
I directed her to open an official ticket so the admin team could review the issue properly and fairly. We went back to the ticket she opened before and continued the conversation there.
Cool,
the investigation. Upon reviewing the original evidence provided in the ticket prior to her public post, we found no evidence of malicious behavior or targeted harassment toward Cha-Cha. Misidentification. Right. Crucially, the individual speaking in the evidence provided for review is not ad-free.
What? Who is it?
So let's just examine this for a second, right? A staff member is telling us right now that the person who was saying inferior to begin with wasn't even ad-free. This whole incident happened on the basis of wrong delusional information. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, the next section would be called Event Context. This was a 3-day Minecraft faction PvP event featuring 3 distinct factions. Wilders, military, and scientists. Intense, in-character banter and trash talk between factions are common expectations of the roleplay genre rather than malicious attacks.
Of course.
All 3 factions engaged in this behavior as part of the competitive atmosphere throughout the 3 days. And if someone ever took it too far and turned it into hate speech or targeting specific individuals, staff would reprimand said individual and remove them from the server.
I think that's pretty clear, right? Because it's all about the intention and how far you take it. Like if someone calls you like a slur or something, and not like a real one, not a made up one that you are making up just for the fun of it, like a real legit one, they can't use, oh, I was in RP, I was in character, my character would say that. Well, no, you can't just do that, especially not in a server like this where they have rules, right? You can't just RP it away. So obviously this person's not trying to say this in any malicious intent. And if they just say it like as a one-off, like if they're DMing you and stuff like that and calling you that in DMs outside of the game, again, like I said, then that would be cause for our alarm. But if it's in-game as a one-off, this is such a train wreck. I love it. Go ahead.
Roleplay context. So here he'll be talking about the clip specifically. The specific comments in the clip regarding small brains were made by the player in the video, who, like Ad-Free, was playing a Wilder Gone scientist. The player involved confirmed this intent, stating, "I quite literally was making fun of myself because I started as a Wilder, so I was the small brain in the room." Admission of widespread usage.
That's kind of cute. That's
In
kind of
private
funny.
DMs prior to the ticket investigation, Cha-Cha stated, "Lots of people have been calling us inferior." This admission confirms she was aware the term was being used broadly by the opposing faction against the Wilders group as a whole. Terminology. Cha-Cha alleged that Ad-Free used the word inferior. We found no evidence of Ad-Free using this term towards her. However, regarding the term itself, inferior is a standard adjective meaning lower in rank, status, or quality. In the context of a competitive PvP faction war, this is standard terminology used to denote an opposing team's skill or ranking. In the ticket, Cha-Cha explicitly rejected the validity of roleplay context entirely, asking, "Are you saying calling people inferior is okay if it's roleplay?" After I asked, "May I ask, was it in reference of faction RP?" Resolution. I informed Cha-Cha that while we take reports seriously, we could not find a violation of server rules based on the evidence provided. Transparency. I explicitly stated that we would not stop her from going public if she felt she needed to, as we believe in open communication. Current conduct. While we respect the right to voice concerns, we definitively do not support the targeted behavior currently being exhibited. Inconclusive and manipulated footage. The public accusation relies on a highly zoomed in, chaotic 3-second snippet. In this clip, multiple conversations overlap and the visual is obscured. Ad-Free's character is not visible in the scene because we cannot see who is speaking and the audio is chaotic. It is factually impossible to verify if Ad-Free is the speaker. Attributing a specific voice to her in this chaos is a massive stretch and does not constitute valid evidence.
Okay.
Audio context. Even if one strains to isolate the faint background voice in this chaotic clip, the phrase audible is "they are inferior, we are just better."
Yeah,
This phrasing
that's what I heard.
explicitly links the term inferior to a competitive comparison of skill and faction strength, in parentheses, better. Uttering this sentiment privately among teammates is standard morale building, not a targeted slur. However, again, we cannot verify it was Ad-Free who said
this guy has gone
retroactive evidence
point by
hunting.
point. I
In her
respect that a
messages
lot.
to Flork, Cha-Cha admitted, "I'm going to hunt down the clips." The statement, made after the accusation was leveled, suggests the conclusion, in parentheses, that Ad-Free was guilty, was formed before any evidence was actually found. This explains why the eventual proof was a misidentified clip of a different person. Unprofessional escalation. Cha-Cha claims she contacted the SVA agency owner, Flork, and he did nothing. This is a misrepresentation. The screenshot of that conversation shows Flork enforcing a standard professional boundary, refusing to allow personal conflict, where one party has blocked the other, to be escalated into management harassment. Flork directed her to respect the block, that matter is settled, rather than validating her attempt to bypass it. And finally, conclusion. We stand definitively by our investigation. It is unacceptable that a situation defined by manipulated evidence and misidentification has escalated to the point where independent event staff must intervene to correct the public record. We expect all participants to adhere to professional standards, and we will not validate the use of misinformation to target community members or external agency leadership. Nikita would then link a screenshot in which he was talking to Cha-Cha saying, "Hi Cha-Cha, we are taking your report very seriously and are reviewing the matter." He would then state everything that was already stated in his Twitter post. Like, for example, the fact that this was completely fine in a roleplay setting. There was nothing weird that was said here.
Of course.
7 hours later, Cha-Cha Chilla would reply to him, saying, "I've decided I'm going public with this. And in order to avoid the VTuber who streamed it getting involved, I've zoomed in to not show them." So look, overall, this was a...
Dude, you can't just have something like 3 seconds. I mean, maybe a 3-second clip works in certain aspects and like certain situations. I feel like you need more than 3 seconds of this clip, or otherwise people are gonna immediately start questioning it. 3 seconds is way too short for context of someone saying something that you find inappropriate.
Very well crafted post. I mean, he really talked about everything.
Yeah,
giving us
this is like the perfect response because he went through every inch, through every single angle of every nook and cranny that could have ever come out of this situation, and he answered all of it, dude. This is a really, really well-made response. It's actually really impressive.
Context in every way imaginable, and indirectly managed to make Cha-Cha Chilla look like an even bigger clown than she already was.
Which is very
Not
impressive,
only was
by
she
the way.
linking
She's
a very
she's already a
hyper-focused
clown.
3-second clip, but there was no way to verify that it was even Ad-Free who said it. Most likely that wasn't even
Was
the
it even
case.
Ad-Free?
This was a clear vendetta that she had.
Because I don't know what these girls sound like, so I don't know what ad-free sounds like. I want to know which girl was it. I don't know if they're going to show it eventually, but it's just really funny that you can't even tell who the girl is, and you probably got it wrong, but you're like sticking with it and running with it.
Because she had her feelings hurt that the CEO of SVA had blocked her and that
SVA,
AdFree
got
had
it.
unfriended her. It was just pathetic. So of course, we can't have proper VTuber drama without the good old community notes, and her initial post did
Sorry about the random pause. Go ahead.
get that treatment. It would say, this was a roleplay server where people were acting. The people have no idea what this person's disabilities were. And their words were not a direct attack to this individual. It was directed at the group in the roleplay, only in the roleplay. The community would then link 3 different Wikipedia links, with the first one being
Roleplay, acting,
the second
and
one
common
being acting,
sense.
and the third one being
Don't tell me it
common
says common
sense.
sense, bro. I hate
Whoever
it
wrote this
here.
was an absolute
I
savage. dude.
hate
Holy
it, bro.
shit. Now, of course, when you're a complete delusional idiot, it's really not enough when you
Well, I
can't
like
take
that model. Who
accountability
is that?
after making false
James-
accusations. No, the charity
Does that say tomboy? That does say tomboy. Was that Zion Zeep? I'm gonna look that up later.
on top is being a hypocrite.
Sorry,
And that's
is
exactly
that
what would
weird?
happen when the VTuber Zion would show us
Sorry,
a clip
Aaron, that
of
was a
that
weird
roleplay
question.
server in which they took the axe of Cha-Cha and Cha-Cha called her a bitch. Watch.
Grabs back. Why? My grabs back. Why?
What did she say?
Watch.
Grabs back. Why? My
Oh my gosh.
So Cha-Cha's out here saying, oh my god, name calling, you're calling me inferior, ableist,
Great
blah, blah, blah.
heavens.
Bro, whoa. Whoa. You're out here using the B word, woman.
Whoa.
As everything was burning, and this was literally trending on Twitter,
Ad-free.
AdFree would make this tweet saying, oh, hey, good morning. In which you'd see this gif that sums things up very perfectly. You know, walking into a burning apartment, dude. But you see, the thing with Cha-Cha Chilla is that she had so much more to offer to the world. That's right. Even after everything that's happened so far,
It's such
she
a
didn't
good
think it
gif.
would be a good idea to get rid of her phone or something. No, instead she'd get the incredible idea of making things 100 times worse. By not shutting up and going as far as starting a fundraiser to sue people defaming her name. I wish I was joking.
Oh my
After
god,
Cha-Cha
you're
Chilla's
not
tweet would get
real,
community
bro.
noted, she would swiftly delete it. But that didn't stop the whole incident from trending on Twitter and
Yeah.
making people aware of who Cha-Cha Chilla truly was.
Oh my
This is when
goodness,
people
bro,
would
she's
start to
not real.
uncover her past.
Okay.
Apollo Mythos
I
would
wanna
make
hear
this
this.
tweet saying, let me give you some more context. Cha-Cha Chilla, aka Bunny Alisu. I was nice, respectful, and tried to be a friend at the time. I wanted you to get help. You harassed me and my friends and so many others for years. You have doxed IRL faces
For the love of God, say friends, not friends.
/ names, bullied, spread
I shouldn't say that. That's inappropriate. I'm sorry, but still, please.
lies, and got blacklisted from Mythos for a good reason. Mythos being the agency that she's a part of. I
Ooh.
gave them a 10+ page document. When we didn't give you what you wanted, you did revenge porn. Yes, that's the P word, adult videos.
Well, why can't people just move on? Why does it always have to go to doxing, revenge, any kind of thing? People do every single thing except move on. Why? Why is moving on not the first? I promise you, it's the easiest option. Just move on, brother.
Every single time I had something awesome happen to me, you got butthurt with my success early on. You shared it
That's
everywhere,
really
and
funny.
people saw that side of me. You took my power, and just 2 days before TwitchCon, where I wanted to see people for the first time, my first event, I had to listen to so many people saying they were on my side and that they saw it. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want that. But you didn't stop there. You kept harassing me for months on end because I wasn't flinching in public. You had to make videos, accounts, and spreading it all over Mythos. I didn't feel safe anymore. I was so overwhelmed I couldn't even stream properly because of you. I lost a lot of things and it harmed me. So obviously that's a crazy accusation, right? It seemed like Cha-Cha Chilla wasn't just someone who was desperate for clout, going after an agency and its CEO. This was someone who was genuinely dangerous, who had hurt people in the past and tried to rebrand to get away from that without, of course, taking any accountability. The replies on this post would be nothing but supportive to Apollo, with quite a few friends confirming, yes, you went through so much, we're here for you, and now you can finally let it out comfortably because we're here to back you up. Apollo's post
good.
would make Cha-Cha Chilla finally make some sort of statement after deleting her initial call out. And this is
Oh my god, I already know I don't want to read this. Oh my god, this is gonna be stupid, isn't it? Oh my god. As soon as I saw, I feel so empty. I don't care. You obviously aren't going to learn. I can already tell. I already can tell.
What she had to say. She'd start off with, I feel so empty. I lost everything, and I really have nobody to blame but myself. I will say I genuinely thought using inferior was bad, but when everybody disagrees with you, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate. I'm not perfect and I make mistakes. I will say I saw Apollo's post and I never doxed anybody nor did revenge porn. That's going too far. Please provide evidence. I'm taking a step back from the internet. I feel like I just need to delve deeper into
No. Bring your ass back here. We have questions. Don't you step back. Come back here. There's still some questions that you need to answer.
Therapy about my impulsiveness and my sadness that turns into anger. I made a very impulsive mistake last night, so this is the last time I'll have access to my phone for a while. I don't know when or if I'll be back. I'm sorry that I caused drama and sorry to those I hurt. Now, one thing I want to point out in this amazingly well-crafted statement is that she had never apologized to either Adfree or Flork, nor did she apologize
Apollo,
to
yeah.
the server owners or the staff.
Or
that was
that
very
too, yeah.
professional with her, by the way. She just says, hey, I have nobody to blame but myself. I made a mistake, but she never really took accountability.
I'm sorry
to the
you
people that
feel
she was
offended, head
trying
ass.
to destroy. She was literally trying to cancel people.
Yeah.
Someone would point this out in the replies, saying you never apologized to Adfree or Flork. You're trying to dodge responsibility for what you did to Apollo and to Yami. This isn't nearly enough and you're just doing this for damage control. She'd reply with, I will say that I did say Yami was brave for showing her face without a mask, but not for being trans. I can't take responsibility for things I didn't do. As for the lack of apology towards Adfree and Flork, they've told me they want nothing to do with me and I'm respecting that. I swear, man, if lack of self-awareness was a person, I think it would personify itself. It would show up and manifest as Cha-Cha Chilla.
Yes,
I need
yes,
to
it
point out
would.
the fact that this post almost has 700,000 views, but man, I mean, you can tell a lot from the engagement, right? Almost 100 comments, all completely pooping on her entire existence. And even though that was the case, she would still make an effort to reply to Apollo's post, linking her statement.
Oh my god, you could tell if she posts her statement somewhere else. Like if she posted it once, sure, whatever. But now that she's spreading it around, she stands by her statement. And no, don't stand by this dog ass statement, brother. Why? Why are you like this? Why?
Saying posting this here too, of course, literally just
don't.
one like on this whole thing. I think she liked it herself or something.
Bro, 20,000 views and one like with 30 comments. All right, pack it up, brother. Pack it up.
And as you might expect, there's not a single positive reply here.
Posting
Now look,
this
this
here,
had already
too.
blown way beyond proportion,
Do I want to read this? No.
right? And even though this was a very unlikable, vile person who just
actually,
can't
he
say
read this,
sorry
right?
no
This is
matter
the same thing,
what,
sorry.
and has past lives in which they actually hurt
Sorry.
other people, I think it's safe to say that things would have died down if, you know, Cha-Cha Chilla actually stepped back and didn't touch her phone anymore. But did that actually happen?
No,
as you
why
might
would it?
expect? Hell no.
No.
Because not even 20 minutes later,
I'll be
she would
heading off
tweet
to the
out,
hospital
I'll be
soon."
heading off
There
to the
it is.
hospital soon and won't have access to my phone.
Which she
People, of
then
course,
had
didn't
access to
believe
her
her. It's been
phones.
20 minutes since you posted that image, bro. Are you just farming for pity? She would then
Yes.
reply to her post saying, since people don't believe me, while linking an image of presumably her in a hospital room while censoring her face. People still didn't believe her, so she replied even further, saying also, I wasn't hospitalized in under 22 minutes, I had been there since November 17th. I was waiting to be transferred to a psych ward, however, the psych ward was full, so
Oh boy. Yeah, you sure? Are you sure about that? This is just one big face palm, bro. Oh, legit, I don't know, man. I really don't. I'm just so I can do nothing but let out the biggest sigh that I can because this is kind of where I saw this going. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not surprised.
I was discharged instead, linking an image that showed her hospital history, saying that on November 17th, 2025, she had gone to the emergency department. So what she didn't realize by doing this is that she exposed the fact that she had made her initial call-out post while being in the hospital, which meant that her tweet
Wait, you're right.
saying I'm headed to the hospital was a lie. She was already there. She was
Wait,
only fishing
what?
for attention. Her initial call-out post was made on November 18th, 2025. She made this while waiting to go to the psych ward. So I'm sure it comes as no surprise that her hospital post got community noted. But before we get into that, we'd find out through another VTuber's quote tweet that Cha-Cha Chilla didn't just have one past life, she had two. They'd say, "You don't know when to quit, do you?" 3 years ago, before she was Cha-Cha Chilla, before she was Bunny Ilisu, she was Nia Charisse. She tried to cancel me on my birthday subathon when I was being vulnerable to her privately, and she twisted my insecurities to try and scare me out of the VTubing space. She also tried to drive a wedge between me and one of my best friends while screwing them out of hundreds of dollars. Seeing you do all this and worse to so many other people makes me fucking sick. 3 years later and you haven't changed a bit, fuck off and never come back. It seemed like Cha-Cha had a track record, and every time she would get caught, she would just rebrand into a new VTuber. As time went on, more and more people caught on to the idea that this was another identity.
Dude, people are coming out the woodwork being like, I found you, you bitch. Risa Hatch Day 25. Sorry, I saw Risa and I got excited. Everyone found her. We found you, you fucking bitch.
Of the same person that screwed them over in the past. This content creator would claim that Cha-Cha Chilla was the same girl who crashed a dinner party that a friend of theirs hosted back in TwitchCon Vegas. Never paid a part of her bill,
which was a few years ago.
Irresponsibly drank with strangers during the event. People were very uncomfortable with the fact that she was mixing her medication with alcohol. The list, of course, here would go on, with her being accused of spreading multiple false rumors about the content creator and their friends in question, and sending lewd photos of herself with zero consent to this content creator that she since then deleted.
No, nobody want to see you naked, girl. What the hell? What is wrong with you? What the? Man, put them things away. Ain't nobody trying to see you. What's wrong with you?
Deleted, even claiming that Cha-Cha Chilla was also a doxer, something that many others in the community have already claimed. This wasn't just a serial offender at this point. This was like an on-the-run fugitive.
You're a disgusting person, bro. There are a few people that I think need to be exiled from VTubing, and this is one of them.
The VTuber community, what the hell is this?
This is definitely one of them.
But the thing is, this wasn't just about her past controversies. People were doubting the picture that she linked. Even though her face is censored, you can see on the edge here that the hair is pink, and it's fairly long. The community note on her post about the hospital would actually talk about this, saying the picture OP provided in the subtweet is not them. It is highly likely they are lying for pity. They are a known liar to gain social equity, linking a tweet. That tweet would say, this picture is not her. She doesn't have pink dyed hair. Her hair is natural brown / dark blonde mix. Seen what she looked like in Zentrea's off-guy stream where she heavily self-promoted herself to the point that both Zen and our favorite monarch got uncomfortable.
Hey, now you're self-promoting in someone else's stream who is huge in the VTubing sphere. I kind of wish I'd seen that clip. I kind of want to look for that clip. Is that weird? I want to see that clip now. I'm not going to look it up, and I'm not going to link it anywhere, but I kind of want to see it now. At this point, we've seen this we've seen this car crash pile up to 12 cars. What's another 5, right? Might as well.
This is a fake pic. So apparently that's also bonus info. She was heavily self-promoting in someone else's stream during the convention. Wonderful. They would then reply to their own post saying, for anyone doubting my words, this is her a month ago, still short blonde brownish hair, taken from her.
Oh, coconut head. Why you look like why you look like what's his name from Ned's Declassified School Survivor Guide head ass. We got some feedback off the microphone head ass. Oh my god, dude, there's so many characters that you look like. What is this? Did you mean, is that Buff? That is Buff. I think that's Buff and Candy. And then Shia. Shia's tall. Or maybe I'm short. I don't know. Me and Buff are like the same height, but still.
Own media tab. Now
that was weird. Sorry, guys.
Facts. So yeah, as we can see, this is short hair and there's not a single shade of pink. Now look, Cha-Cha apparently is a cosplayer. She might have used a wig at Off-Guy, and some people were also alleging that this image was actually taken from a...
God, I hope so, because that's that haircut ain't doing you no favors, I'll tell you that much.
thread from somewhere else, but it actually wasn't, as much as it's believable seeing who we're dealing with here. Someone actually just took Cha-Cha's picture and posted it in this thread, which was about VTubers. Additionally, this image was being posted saying that it's the original one without the emoji, but it's actually AI, and you can see this on the monitor in the back. It even got community noted. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because we don't need fake proof to prove that this is a very weird story, because all we have to do is look at her Discord server when this was all going down. Someone would compile images of what was going on in her Discord after she had posted the hospital pic, and it shows
Chat, we also have a Discord in the description. Join it if you want to.
us a clear understanding of how she was trying her
Be
best
initiated,
to
be
prove that she was
canonized in the
actually
demon gang.
in the room with the help of her community. The first thing she'd do is post this, saying, also, yes, I have pink
It
hair
was
and the brown
fake.
hair is a wig.
Of course it
Confirming that,
is.
Yeah, she was cosplaying at Off Guy. She currently has pink hair. Her own Discord was kind of doubting her, saying, maybe you have a friend who took this picture, to which Cha-Cha would reply with, so I have a pink-haired friend I got to send me hospital pics and a selfie right now? That's kind of dumb. Regardless though, her Discord wasn't really on her side. They were pushing her to get a piece of paper and write the name and the date so that people understand that this is actually her. She would then go ahead and post it, replying to the initial post of her proving she has pink hair. The image would say Cha-Cha, but the date would be very...
What the hell is that date? January 1st? January 1st, 2009? What is this?
weird. It would say 1/1/9. That's what it looked like.
What?
Her Discord would point this out. What is this, 119? To which Cha-Cha would say, no, it's meant to say 11/19. I know my handwriting is bad.
11/9?
To which Cha, what it looked like.
What? What? You have a regular one right here, and then three slanted ones right here. Why? What, did you have a stroke halfway through? Just commit to the line.
Her Discord would point this out. What is this, 119?
What?
To which Cha-Cha would say, no, it's meant to say 11/19. I know my handwriting is bad, but damn. Someone would then say, what's with the date and different hair shade? To which she would say, the hair is the same, it's my same hair. A couple of people would believe this, but many others wouldn't. Some of the people in the Discord would ask her to take another picture that's clearer, that has a better date, and she would say, because you're doubting me when I'm showing proof and making me take more and more photos, it feels like you're trolling me. She'd then finally give in and say, fine, I'll take another photo with the same shirt that she had worn in the hospital. And then as someone was giving her advice as to how she could stand up to make the lighting look better and match the picture in the hospital, she would say, I don't like standing a lot. I stood for one photo quickly and started feeling dizzy. Someone would say, come on now. To which she would say, you do realize I have a heart condition that makes me faint when I stand for long periods? I can show you the tilt table test. To which one of the people trying to help her would say, okay, I give up, you are a liar. She would then post the image of that test.
You ever had that chat where it's just like, wait, no, this has happened to you, or no, stop, blah, 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 blah. And you're defending someone. No, I believe you. I believe you. At the end, you're just like, you know what? Screw it. You did it. I don't care. You're guilty. I'm over it. Who cares?
Right? Even though a lot of people were already turning on her by this point. And after many minutes of arguing about how she gets dizzy when she's standing up and how she can't do it, someone would just say, hey, can you just do it sitting down? Can you just shut up and do it sitting down? She'd say, okay, fine. And then she'd finally take another picture with her sitting down. As far as I'm aware, though, she wouldn't post this one on Twitter. Someone would mention that she's missing the paper that says the date and her name, to which she would say, what the fuck, you didn't say that, like you didn't specify for me to take it with it. Her Discord would then start infighting, right? Some people were on Cha-Cha's side, some people weren't, and they would just start like going at each other's throats, and she would just stop participating in the conversation. So yeah, here's the image of her sitting down, because again, if she stands up, she'll just faint, guys. Here's the hospital one. Is it the same shade? Up to you to decide. But one thing is for certain, this image is really weird. I don't know why you would write the date like this. Look, I can maybe say that this is a 19, right? This could be excused as a 1, but then you have 3 different lines. What do they signify? That doesn't look like an 11 to me. It looks like 119. Not a single reply here was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Everyone was like, dude, what did you even write? Like, what? This is January 2009? Like, what kind of date is this? It only made her look way worse. And then just as you thought that things couldn't get way crazier than
No, how does it get worse than that? What's next?
this, she would make a tweet because, of course, she lacks self-awareness entirely.
Of course.
She'd say, if anybody wants to help with lawyer fees, and would link her
But of
stream
course.
elements in order to get donations. Yes, that's the tweet. This came out of nowhere. What lawyer fees? Who are you suing? What are you talking about?
You would not have gotten a lawyer that fast and getting everything together, right? Maybe she saw the thing with Casey Tron and Denims and all that. They didn't get it like immediately. This is like now that they have the trial, or not the trial, but now that they have been served, they have the GoFundMe's. Why do you have it immediately?
It would only be the next day in which she would finally specify what she's raising lawyer funds for, saying, for those that wanted me to specify, I plan on taking Apollo to court and suing her for slander and defamation. She has stated many false things about me with no evidence to back these claims up. Apollo would then quote tweet that and say, I hope you do. That would be so funny. Now, I don't know what
Do
could have
it.
possibly
Do it, pussy. Do it right now.
changed Cha-Cha Chilla's mind here, but shortly afterwards, she would delete that tweet. She would also delete the tweet in which she was asking
just kidding,
for
Lamau.
lawyer fees, right? And the funny thing here is that if she actually were to sue, which come on, everyone knew that would never happen, the burden of proof would actually fall upon her. She would have to prove that she's innocent, right? And so far, she's been doing a terrible job at this. Man, it's insane what delusion and narcissism can do. In any case, Flork would end this by saying, okay, folks, while I deeply appreciate the support, the matter is done and over with now. There's no need to continue with it. Let's not tell someone to KYS, let's lower the temperature. What's done is done and the matter is over. I wish it didn't get to that point, but it is what it is. I wouldn't wish anyone getting to a mental breaking.
Yeah, I mean, you should never tell people that, right? The best way to get back at people like this is to just ignore them. They obviously want attention and need and feed off the attention. If you just ignore them, you're giving them what they hate the most, and it's to be not seen, which I think is the best thing to do to people like this. Just make it seem like, just make them know that they aren't seen. Ignore them, let them have whatever little community they have left, and just let them fade into obscurity. That'll hurt them more than saying words like that.
Cha-Cha, I don't know what drove you to all this. Get the help you need and move on. You can't keep doing this in public, getting backlash when people defend themselves and then get to this point. He would then go ahead and say that he does forgive her, but hopes that she evaluates if this stuff is right for her. He
You're a better man than me, bro.
hopes that she can get help. At Free, the one who was also blamed by Cha-Cha,
Free.
would say, I have a lot of incredibly sweet DMs. Thank you for checking up on me. I promise normally I'm a silly little bug and I'll get back to that soon. More than anything, I think we should celebrate the incredible job Lucia and the team did. You guys navigated unknown terrain and made sure that everyone was having a blast, sometimes literally. Cheers to the next one. We live, we learn, we entertain. She would then express how lucky she is to have her agency, SVA, and that she couldn't imagine going through this as an independent VTuber.
Yeah, that's really good. I think that she really is lucky, because it's like, imagine you had an agency that didn't stick up for you and actually said that you were part of the problem, and that they would strongly advise that you not stream because it would make the brand look terrible. Luckily, there's no agency like that, right, chat? Right? Chat, why are you getting quiet? Did I miss something? Anyways, go ahead.
So yeah, this whole thing was just wild, a complete roller coaster of emotions. And just like any big problem that blows out of proportion in many of my videos, or just on Twitter in general, it could have ended way earlier if the person involved had just apologized and taken a step back. Cha-Cha
Please don't
Chilla
let us
isn't
take
some random
accountability.
VTuber. This
We
is
need
someone
to.
with past history who has hurt people deeply. The good news, though, is that their new attempt to reinvent themselves has completely failed, and
That's
she'll
good.
probably make another account in the coming year or
Probably.
something. I don't know. If there's one silver lining here, is that it did raise
Socks.
awareness on Sock's agency, on the fact that its
Yeah,
own
dude,
CEO will defend
Yeah, dude, I have brand new, very warranted respect for Flork after this. I thought he was just a silly little artist who probably wouldn't have gotten involved in stuff like this. But after seeing how he really stood up for his talents, I have a lot, and I mean a lot of respect for him. Because there's, like I said, there's CEOs who wouldn't do that and are now probably going into hiding because everything crumbled around them. But he doesn't need to worry about that. Chat. let's just work. Let's just support the good agencies, right? Let's not act like everyone needs to go independent, because there are good agencies out there, and that's what really matters, is to support the people who do good and to not support the people who are terrible, right?
His talents like no one else. That's a really cool thing to have. At the same time, it also did raise more awareness on the efforts
I do like her art, dude. Listen. Sorry, that's inappropriate. Go ahead.
of Lucia and Orisa when it came to making that
Arisa.
server. Hopefully next time, it'll be even bigger and better and won't have any problematic people involved. And finally, when it comes to Cha-Cha Chilla, the last tweet you can see on her feed was her saying that she has pink hair and that the brown hair is a wig. However, she did make another tweet along the lines of, I've seen many people say that I should get a real job, but I'm disabled, blah, 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 really pushing the whole disabled narrative even further, but she deleted that tweet and I had no time to take a screenshot of it. However, we can still see her talking about this in the replies.
Get a desk
Someone
job.
said, okay, you can't do a physical job, then get a desk job, to which she would say, are you going to pay for my college degree? She hasn't learned a single thing, she hasn't apologized to a single person, and overall, she's absolutely hopeless. It's incredible what some people will do instead of just saying sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this roller coaster train wreck nuclear bomb until the end. I really appreciate it. I also wanted to quickly mention that GamerSubs has a new drop right now, and it looks
GamerSubs?
really cool. So if you're interested, make sure to use the code Mujin
That's
for 10%
crazy.
off your
That's
total order.
crazy, brother.
I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is, and please
Oh
take
no,
care.
he's
Until
French,
then,
chat.
love
Oh
you. Mwah.
no. You held the door open. You held the door open for me. How dare you assume I can't open for myself? She really is that kind of person who would say something like that. Bam, 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 bam. I don't. Dude, this is so funny. That was, man, that was a roller coaster of emotions, and most of the emotions was cringing and face palming and deep sighing, because what is wrong with you, bro? I really need to know. Where did this all go wrong for you in your life where you're like this? I'm gonna use my soy jack as well, just for the thumbnail. It'll be really funny. It will be back to back like Lethal Weapon. It was chat. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how you guys feel. Chat, again, I am up and streaming again, so if you guys ever want to join that, be a part of that, I am over at youtube.com/BlueDemonRin or twitch.com/BlueDemonRin. Join the Discord, send me reacts. I have a bunch of reacts I have to do from the community. Chat, join the community, be canonized, join the Demon Gang in chat. Let me know how you guys feel. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.